From the headquarters of FtS English in Quito, Ecuador, I'm Carla Gonzalez, and this is From the South. We begin in Brazil. The country has recorded its highest daily death toll from the COVID-19, with 600 deaths between Monday and Tuesday evening. The health ministry has reported that the nation now has over 114,000 confirmed cases and almost 8,000 deaths. Anger is also growing amongst citizens against the far-right president, who has continuously spoken out against quarantine measures. At the same time, experts warn that the actual number of people infected by the virus are likely to be much higher than what is being reported.
Goes and speaks on TV telling people to go out to the streets. How can we go to the streets? My mother went to the street and I buried her, and that despicable man is sending people to the street.
Let's turn to our correspondent, Andre Vieira, with the details.
600 deaths were registered in Brazil over the past 24 hours due to COVID-19, a new record for the country. When compared to neighboring Argentina, this one-day toll is more than double what Argentina has registered since the pandemic started. As Brazil records 7,921 deaths, Argentina registers 262. It's a tale of two presidents. On one side, Alberto Fernandez, who started a dialogue with the people and imposed movement restrictions since the first infections were detected, which in turn led to the low numbers of COVID-19 when compared with Brazil. On the other hand, the Brazilian president has minimized the pandemic, calling it a little flu, and has continuously called for and participated in public events on the streets without a face mask, setting an example for his followers to disrespect social isolation. A sad reality for Brazil. Beyond this health crisis, Brazil is also in the midst of a political crisis caused by President Jair Bolsonaro himself. On Tuesday, the testimony of former Justice Minister Sergio Moro was made public, who had accused Bolsonaro of political interference in the federal police. According to Moro, Bolsonaro wanted to be in control of the Rio Federal Police Superintendency, which is currently carrying out several investigations into the Bolsonaro family. Nonetheless, the Supreme Federal Court is continuing its investigation into whether the president committed the crime of political interference.
That was Andre Vieira from Brazil. Venezuela's government is releasing new details on the fall destabilization, terror and coup plans being organized from Colombia. The government said that intelligence pointed to plans which were being developed. This follows news that Venezuelan authorities captured another 8 terrorists in Chuao, Aragua, in a civic military police action on Monday. And President Donald Trump has denied involvement of his government in brief comments to reporters outside the White House.
I just got information, nothing to do with our government, but I just got information on that. So we'll find out. We just heard about it. But whatever it is, we'll let you know. But it has nothing to do with our government.
And we continue with Venezuela. During the Minister of Communications press conference, Jorge Rodriguez displayed some images questioning the relationship between the United States president and this attempted coup.
Today, President Donald Trump denied any type of relationship between Silvercorp and his government. But as it turns out, in the Instagram that Silvercorp uses, we see Jordan Gordreo working as security for the President of the United States at a campaign event. If this is true, how is that the Secret Service of the United States contracts Silvercorp to provide security for Donald Trump? And how is it that Silvercorp is publishing that on their page? Here in another photo, President of the United States Donald Trump is near Jordan Gordreo in an event in Charlotte, North Carolina on October 18, 2018.
And Sunday's terrorist incursion into Venezuela, orchestrated from Colombia, had been foreshadowed by a number of recent events and reportedly had the support of Colombia's intelligence agencies.
On March 26, retired Army officer Cliver Alcalá Cordones confessed to a plane in coordination with members of the Venezuelan opposition, paramilitaries and sectors of Colombia's right wing that would try to carry out a military incursion into Venezuela.
The weapons seized in Colombia belong to the Venezuelan people, as part of a pact signed by President Guaidó and Mr. J.J. Rendon, as well as by Mr. Vergara and North American advisors. For months, we've been working on the creation of a freedom unit for Venezuela.
Alcalá confirmed that the recipients of those weapons was going to be AKA Pantera, who was killed on Sunday by the Bolivian armed forces during the attempted raid. The authors of this plot came from Colombia, as confirmed by U.S. Special Forces member Jordan Goudreau.
At 1700 hours, a daring amphibious raid was launched from the border of Colombia deep into the heart of Caracas.
Colombia's democratic sectors are demanding that the national government clarify Sunday's event, given that the attack had been forewarned.
This is a delicate matter, and it demands that the government explain how the intelligence agencies are responding to these groups that are trying to attack Venezuela, playing into the hands of the U.S. and its intervention attempts.
Experts agree that the Colombian government violated the nation's sovereignty, working in the interest of the U.S. to destabilize its neighboring country.
Sadly, the Colombian government is still an accomplice in the violation of international law by attempting against a nation's sovereignty. As we have seen by the events at the border, there is a collaboration between Colombia's armed forces and paramilitary groups.
While Colombia's foreign minister has rejected the declarations of Venezuela's government, evidence continues to mount against the government of Iván Duque for their complicity.
We have more stories coming up. Don't go away. Welcome back. Jamaica has extended its national curfew by 7 days, in addition to work-from-home orders that will allow businesses to remain closed. This as the country struggles financially against the pandemic.
We have been examining the impact of the measures generally on the economy. And there are some measures which have had considerable economic impact. We are absorbing these impacts because we want to contain first and foremost, but strategically.
Follow our latest updates concerning the novel coronavirus by checking our special content in